Allies in the US and Europe demand that Russia stop using Iranian drones in Ukraine. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations issued a statement on behalf of the European Union, asking the UN to investigate Russia's use of Iranian drones in Ukraine. Earlier this month, the United States released more information on how Iran supplied Russia with hundreds of anti-aircraft drones and equipment related to the production of drones. Ukraine and the United Kingdom have also submitted documents to the United Nations. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield told reporters, "The Ukrainian army has captured hundreds of Iranian drones." 2231, but now Russia is also working with Iran to make these weapons, he said. France, Ukraine, and Albania. In recent weeks, Russia has used these drones to attack Kyiv, destroying Ukrainian infrastructure and killing and damaging Ukrainians. According to media reports and other Ukrainian cities, Russia has already this week invaded Kyiv with a large number of Iranian drones targeted with his vehicle. And the UN must respond to calls for an investigation into the actions of the international community. This is illegal. Russia targets American soil with its cyber apocalypse strategy. Thomas-Greenfield asserted that Resolution 2231 give the Secretary General the general authority to conduct such investigations, and we all support the United Nations. Start the search now. Thomas-Greenfield said, "The actions of Russia and Iran violate United Nations Security Council Resolution 2231. The resolution prohibits all countries, including members of the Security Council, from transferring these weapons without Iran importing them." Of course, there is no consensus. UN Secretary-General spokesman Farhan Haq told Fox News Digital, "The Secretariat continues to review information it has received regarding Iran's alleged handover of self-driving cars. Then there will be a brief Ukraine war next month." The National Council of Resistance of Iran, NCRI, accused the Iranian government of supplying unmanned aerial vehicles to Russia, with a shipment of 3,500 drones for use in Ukraine in November 2022. The U.S. National Security Council, NSC, said this month that relations between the two countries have grown to the point where Iran is sending equipment to Russia to build a drone factory east of Moscow to produce more drones. Chapter. Author John Kirby said. Kirby pointed out that the footage released at the time showed Iranian drones being transported to Russia. These drones were produced in Iran, crossing the Caspian Sea, transported from Amrabad, Iran, to Makhachkala, Russia, and then crashed into Russia. Used against Ukraine. Russia and Iran are violating their obligations under UNSCR 2231 by participating in the transfer of drones from Iran to Russia without UN Security Council approval, Kirby said. "We will continue to work with our allies, partners, and the United States." The U.S. and its allies clash with Iran and its ally Russia over Western demands. Tehran provides Moscow drones to attack Ukraine. U.S. blames U.S. Secretary General caused Russian threats and did not initiate an investigation. On Monday, the United States and Iran held controversial talks at the Security Council to ratify Iran's 2015 nuclear deal agreement signed by former President Donald Trump. responsible for the absence of controversy. It was withdrawn in 2018. Iran United Nations. Prime Minister Amir Saeed Al-Irawani said the Iranian negotiation team has shown the most flexibility in trying to reach an agreement, but that the new solution for important problems is to destroy death. But he claimed that the unrealistic and inflexible approach of the U.S. led to the current hurdle in the negotiations of the 2015 agreement, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Let's be clear, worries, threats and attacks are not the solution and will lead to nothing, said Iravani, adding, he said he was ready to schedule a study meeting. If America, the United States has shown real diplomacy. The United States now holds the position. Iravani U.S. Public Speaking. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State Robert Wood said the door was open to negotiations to continue full implementation of the JCPOA. But Iran's own actions caused this to happen. In September, an agreed-upon deal was attainable and even Iran was ready to say yes, Wood said. The World Health Organization and its expansion of its nuclear program, not for legitimate civilian purposes, strengthened U.S. sanctions. Expressing doubts about Iran's willingness and ability to close the deal, and explaining why no working negotiations have taken place since then. It is a right to demand and reject all deals, which is why Iran is not returning to the deal. With the Iran nuclear deal, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Then the ball is not in the U.S. court, said Wood. Well, the ball is on Iran's side. The United Kingdom's ambassador to the United Nations, Barbara Woodward, whose country is also a party to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, told the Security Council that Iran's nuclear advance makes the nuclear deal a reality. Progress just got harder. Today, Iran's total uranium stockpile exceeds the JCPOA limit by at least 18 times and continues to produce highly enriched uranium, an unprecedented figure for a country without nuclear weapons, he said. Also, Iran's nuclear explosion time has been reduced to a few weeks, and the time it takes for Iran to produce the fissile material it needs for various nuclear weapons has also been shortened, Woodward said. Nuclear payload carrying technology of missiles. Rosemary DiCarlo, UN Political Director, told the Council the field of diplomacy seems to be shrinking rapidly. Pointed to the IAEA report, which says Iran plans to install new centrifuges at the Natanz oil enrichment plant and produce more enriched uranium. At the Fordow oil enrichment plant, enrichment up to 60%, close to the level required for nuclear weapons. Iran also destroyed all IAEA equipment monitoring JCPOA activities. DiCarlo urged Iran to reverse all steps beyond the boundaries of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, and demanded that the United States lift sanctions against Iran under the nuclear deal and extend exemptions to Iranian oil markets. Iran's Iravani said that all aspects of Iran's nuclear program are peaceful, and that Iran is ready to join the IAEA to solve important nuclear protection issues. As for the false accusations that Iran sent drones to Russia in violation of the 2015 resolution, Iravani said that all restrictions on weapons entry and exit into Iran ended in October 2020. Therefore, he said, Western claims that Tehran needed prior approval had no legal basis. Ilovani also stated that the UAVs were not sent to Russia to be used in Ukraine and said, "The information is against the law and there is no accusation. The weapon has no purpose other than attention to delay conflict." Russia's ambassador to the United Nations, Vasily Nebenzia, described the allegations that Iran sent a drone to Russia for use in Ukraine as true and false. He said Russia was well aware that Ukrainian representatives could not provide Tehran with information confirming the use of Iranian-made drones by the Russian military. U.S. Representative Wood told the Security Council that Ukraine's report that Russia is using Iranian-made drones to attack civilian infrastructure is supported by significant evidence from many public spaces, including a statement by Iran's foreign minister on November told. As an extension of the 2015 resolution, he said Iran cannot replace drones without the prior approval of the Security Council. Wood said that for 7 years the United Nations has been responsible for investigating crimes. The Secretariat, headed by Secretary General Guterres, has yet to announce the investigation, apparently to the Russian threat. Nebenzia of Russia reiterated Moscow's claim that the investigation completely violated the decision and the UN Charter as well as the UN Charter. The Secretariat should not succumb to pressure from Western countries. Guterres was asked at a press conference earlier on Monday about criticism of the United Nations' failure to launch an investigation into Iranian-made drones in Ukraine and said, "Think broadly about everything we do in the context of war. When we should think